There's a small stretch of water in the Pacific Northwest that's terrified sailors for centuries.
Hundreds, probably thousands of shipwrecks out here. You can't walk around, not walk over probably a piece of a shipwreck.
Since the 1800s, the count stands at over 2,000 ships wrecked and hundreds of lives lost. It's known as the Graveyard of the Pacific, where the Columbia River collides with the Pacific Ocean and explodes.
Take that tremendous energy of the wave sets of the Pacific Ocean and match that up with 1,200 miles of river flow.
This matchup can sometimes create 40-foot waves, and people have had to cross it for centuries. Imagine being a captain of a ship in the 1800s. You've endured pummeling rain and wind, sailed through fog, and avoided the rocky coastline, only to encounter the Columbia River bar, where the Columbia collides with the Pacific. But the real danger lurks below. The Columbia River, the largest in the Pacific Northwest, carries a massive amount of sediment downstream. It creates ship-wrecking sandbars that move every season.
If a mariner was approaching the river with a 4-year-old chart, good luck.
So why endure all this? Well, this waterway opened the region to the wider world. The financial reward was a risk worth taking, and more ships took the gamble. Local sailors were the best bet to make it through the passage alive, and were hired to guide ships through the passage as bar pilots. They were officially chartered 13 years before Oregon became a state. By the late 1800s, there was a lighthouse at Cape Disappointment and a precursor to the Coast Guard patrolling the area. But none of this changed the sandbars that could dramatically shift in a season. To tame them, the Army Corps of Engineers decided to alter the flow of the river. They built jetties. It was like putting a nozzle at the mouth of the river to create a fire hose. The river current sped up, and all the silt and debris spilled further down the Pacific to prevent the clogging at the mouth of the river. This was a massive project. The South Jetty is more than 2 million tons of rock. That's like moving 20 aircraft carriers 6.5 miles out into the ocean in 1885. To do this, upstream, workers quarried rock, loaded them onto a railroad they built that went into the Columbia River bar, and dumped them. The Army Corps completed 3 jetties, and the project took over 50 years. The once shifting channels became predictable, and commerce boomed. Today, the Columbia River bar is the gateway to over $24 billion of yearly trade. But this waterway is relentless. After years of pummeling, the jetties are starting to show their age and need to be fixed. The Army Corps is repairing them. But even with modern equipment, it's a 7-year-long project. Although bar pilots can now board commercial ships by helicopter and sailors can use sophisticated GPS, this remains the graveyard of the Pacific.
The river is the river, and the ocean is the ocean. We've made it safer, we've made it more predictable, but it's never tamed.